Hey, this is Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As I wanted to do a video for you on the third and final square between Saturn at 11 degrees of Aquarius squaring Uranus 11 degrees of Taurus retrograde that occurs on December 23rd, 24th, and it is the third and final square between these two planets. Now, this energy has been significant throughout 2021, and it's where you want to identify in your chart where you have between 7 and 13 degrees of Taurus, 7 and 13 degrees of Taurus in your chart, and also where you have between 7 to 13 degrees of Aquarius in your chart. And then you would identify the two houses that these planets have been transiting for you. So in this example chart, it's Saturn in the fourth house and Uranus in the seventh house, creating a tension between these two areas of your life. And this is going to help you understand a process that's been unfolding throughout this year that started in February when both planets were at 7 degrees. Then they moved forward and had another square at 13 degrees. And then here in December, they have a third and final square at 11 degrees. So that's why you want to look at between 7 and 13 degrees in your chart, as this is where these two planets have been moving back and forth, direct and retrograde. So what this means is that throughout this year, we've had an ongoing process that has had a lot of tension in it. Tension between this Uranus desire for freedom, liberation. I want to go my own way. I want to do my own thing. And this is in Taurus, which is associated with what we need to be self-reliable, self-sustaining, your resources, your money, your finances, what you value, how you live your life. This is an earth sign that's about where you're able to take care of the fundamental basics of your life. But it's also related to your value systems changing and a shift in what is important to you, what your priorities are. Perhaps this is through how you want to make money, how you want to live your life and experience your life. Perhaps this is a desire to make a drastic change in your life in some way. But throughout the year, this desire to be free, to have liberation, to awaken further is being tested by Saturn. Saturn in Aquarius is about the practical, necessary steps we need to take to create something that is true for us. Because that Aquarius energy is about where you have a hope, a vision, an ideal, something that's calling to you. And Saturn is the practical energy of, well, how are you going to get there? What does that look like? What is that about for you? If you want to go somewhere else, you have a new dream that's emerging, a new life dream that's emerging. What are your current commitments that you have to honor? What parts of your life are you responsible for and you just can't take off and abandon it or leave it behind? And the Saturn energy is basically showing us where we have these commitments, responsibilities, and also in Aquarius, it can be to other people. As Aquarius can be groups, friendships, networks, people we know, things we've made commitments to that maybe we're reassessing. We're understanding that there's a new dream emerging, a new vision, a new place you want to go in the future. And yet there's been a sense of tension that you can't just break free and go there right away. And the Saturn energy is about timing. So there's been an element of perhaps working really hard on something, putting in the effort, putting in the time, and really being dedicated, and then still feeling trapped or still feeling like you're stuck. And this energy of Uranus in Taurus, it starts to shake. It's like, I just want to be free. I just want to be able to go and do my own thing, but I'm tied to something. I have things that I need to stick with and see through, and I'm not just free to go. I have to tend to these priorities and these responsibilities. So this is part of the overall tension. And that's why you want to identify the houses in your chart where these planets are creating a square, as this is where you're feeling the tension between these two areas of your life. And this is where Saturn goes slow, diligent, focused, don't miss a detail. And Uranus is the wild animal that loves chaos and wants to do something its own way. I'll figure it out as I go. I don't want to be told what to do. And I'm okay just basically throwing the baby out with the bathwater and starting all over. So there's been this ongoing tension. Now keep in mind that both of these energies are in your chart, and they are archetypal energies of parts of you that want to be free, that want to follow a new path and see what awaits in the near future, perhaps. But this energy is where you know you have to take care of things, and that this is where you understand, well, I can't just abandon ship or take off on my own because I would be letting people down. So there can be that responsibility to people that is part of this tension or a desire for your own independence or freedom, but you're aware of who's involved, the bigger picture of communities, people, maybe this is at work, coworkers, bosses, people who rely on you, that you have to take care of something. So throughout the year, this tension has been ongoing. And at the end of December here, we have this third and final square, and there's a lot that's built into this energy here. So let's walk through that. Now, it's important to note that in this third and final square, Saturn is direct, Uranus is retrograde. Retrograde means the energy is more internal. There's a part of you maybe that's gaining deeper clarity on what your value shift is, on what the life changes that you want to make, where you're sensing it, you're feeling it. It's like it's getting closer. Uranus will station direct the middle of January 2022. So this energy is going to gain momentum in January, but at this time it's more internal. There's this reflection of how you've changed deeply, what has shifted for you in terms of life priorities, and that there's something that maybe you feel it's coming together. This Uranus energy can have a lot of anticipation, and that anticipation can create anxiety. So this energy can be felt in your body, in your nervous system, in your energy system, where you're sensing the changes, you're sensing what's coming, it's just not here yet, but you know it's on its way. And then we have the Saturn energy about timing and the parts of you that are aware of what you're working on and working towards. And because this energy is direct, it could be more front and center, where you're more aware of these priorities to other people, these commitments, the things that you need to take care of, even as you feel this part of you that could feel, again, it's internal and more private, that is still percolating. It's almost like watching popcorn pop, where the kernels are getting hot and you know that it's just ready to blow the lid off the top of the pot. It's kind of that type of energy that's like, I'm just ready to burst with where I want to go next. And here we have Saturn saying, okay, but you have to take care of this and you need to get some things done. So Saturn is stronger because Saturn is direct, and Saturn is in Aquarius, which is one of the energies that it is the ruler of. And this is where the energy gets really fascinating, because Saturn is strong in Aquarius, a strong sense of purpose and direction for where you're going, clear thinking, a sense of clarity arriving. The vision is getting stronger, and there is a mental fixation here with Aquarius where you could be really certain about something. So Aquarius is also co-ruled by Uranus. And this is the energy, as we talked about, of disruption, of change, of chaos, of breakthroughs, something that is not comfortable. Uranus is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, And here's Venus retrograde, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, Capricorn ruled by Saturn. So we have an interesting energy loop here that really signifies deep value changes at a very core level, where you're maybe going into some really deeper understanding of what you want, not just today, but for the future, what you want next in your life, where you're going, what matters to you, and also an assessment of where you're at right now in your life. And bigger questions are arising. What dreams do I have left to pursue? What's on my bucket list? What does it mean to live a quality life? What do I need to experience in my life that I haven't yet? But I feel the energy growing. I feel the energy calling to me of something that's uniquely me, that's uniquely what I want, what I value, and what I want to experience here on this planet. So this energy has been in effect throughout most of the year, bringing up bigger questions, not just surface level questions, but bigger questions that we've had to think about, dive into, and then sit with the tension of not knowing when or not knowing how. Now, because Saturn is about timing, you can see this as the timing is working in your favor, even when you're incredibly impatient and you wish you were there by now, or it's creating anxiety, it's creating irritability and frustration. That's what we have to calm down whenever there's strong Uranus energy. And what we can embrace is the fact that this is creating, the pressure could be creating something that's bursting forward or bursting out that you didn't recognize before. A new solution, a new answer, a new understanding. Because when there's a lot of tension, it can be like it's pushing from both sides. And then something emerges in the middle, or something emerges out from that pressure on both sides. So you could see it as this is working in my favor to support me in going deeper in clarity around my life, around my values, what I want. And so what I'm saying is you can switch this energy around so that if you've been feeling this anxiety and this tension and this sense of frustration and why isn't it moving? Why am I in this holding pattern? Why is everything seem like it's on pause? It's because the universe is delivering you a new message, a higher message from this Uranus that is connected with cosmic intelligence and higher universal energies, so that you're able to understand where you're at and to honor the fact that the big changes could be slow going or even slow coming. It's like you could feel like I've been waiting all year for something to change in this part of my life. And chances are it's going to shift in January. And it could be that that's because there's always something to learn from every energy, from every phase, from every place that we're in. There's always something that we can learn and how we can grow through it. And I feel like the intensity of this energy is really asking you to get into more of the core of what you really want, not what you think you can have, not what you've been told you're worthy of, not what you thought was correct for you. So I guess what I'm seeing is that this feels like a lot of deconditioning so that you're no longer on autopilot, and instead you're really getting into some core understandings of your own energy and how you are unique, how you are an individual, how you're here to perhaps create some new soul experiences for yourself in this lifetime that are deeply rooted in a truer sense of self-love and self-worth. It's almost like new dreams are arising from this tension. And you could even think of this as an earthquake where the tectonic plates have been pushing against each other back and forth, and sooner or later one of them budges and is lifted up, right? And that's where the earth shakes. There's big movement is possible because of this tension. And there's something within our own consciousness that we're meant to come into contact with, that we're meant to open up to and to see in a new way, because now you're going to connect with something from a much clearer, truer place of self-worth, self-love, and self-acceptance, where I feel like the energies really shift in January and February, especially after Venus stations direct the end of January. The process continues into 2022, but there's something here that you're really meant to connect with because it's the right choice for you. And maybe it's felt uncertain. Maybe you've done your own sidestepping, the back and forth around it, where could that be possible? Could I really have that in my life? Could I really create that? Could I really experience that? And the universe is saying you can, especially when you operate from a place of self-love and your own power, the power of your light, the power of your energy. And this Venus, she's being deeply reprogrammed too with her conjunction to Pluto. So this is a very intense energy. And it's more intense here in December than it was in February or June of this year. And you are feeling this energy more intensely if you have planets or points in the fixed signs. So the fixed signs are, as I said, 7 to 13 degrees of Aquarius, 7 to 13 degrees of Taurus, 7 to 13 degrees of Leo, and then 7 to 13 degrees of Scorpio. Planets or points in the fixed signs are feeling this tension more directly. It's shaking up parts of your life and parts of yourself, parts of your self-understanding that could be stressful at times. It could be very uncertain. And that's especially true because the fixed signs want stability, want routine, want to know what's reliable. And this has been shaking up those parts of you because the universe is saying there's more here. There's more here. And if you can grow through the tension and grow through the not knowing, that's going to lead you to an even better outcome or development. And yes, there are parts of this energy that can be difficult to work with at times, but it's really digging into the fact that if it's working in your favor, and if you're connecting with this at a deeper soul level, that it's almost like really trusting your soul's destination or this soul's desire to move you forward. If you can tap into that energy, it will start to feel perhaps even calmer and safer. So overall, this has been a big energy signature of 2021, and it ends on a very powerful note. And again, the energies do continue into January and even February, because that's when we'll see this Uranus station direct and have energy to move forward. Uranus actually moves back to 10 degrees of Taurus. And then also we have this, as I mentioned, conjunction between Venus and Pluto that's very intense. And Venus is the ruler of this Uranus energy. So this is signifying big life changes, opening you up to perhaps more than you thought was possible, but helping you understand that it is about timing. And if we were to rush through certain phases of growth, we would miss something. And I feel like the Saturn is keeping the pace, applying the brakes, requiring a slowdown, so that you're really in alignment with that future self and that future potential. This also can be something you see as working in your favor, because the slowdown is ensuring that you're growing and changing as you go, and you're not just going to revert back to a comfort space. Because sometimes when we move ahead really quickly, we have a sense of, I'm doing this, but you don't realize you're carrying old energy or old programming with you. This is really helping you pace it and look at what you're changing at a more foundational level, so that when this pressure is released and the tension is no longer there, it can feel like a renewal. Like you're really more certain and clear around where you're going, what you're building, what you're moving towards. And it's based on the new energy that has shifted. It's based on the fact that you've been through a growth process, that you've really changed, and you're not just carrying the old energy forward or taking the old baggage with you. So again, if we can look at it as, okay, how is this working in my favor? That will change the energy around for you, and it will reduce any of that impatience or frustration and help you connect to the bigger purpose of what this is trying to show you, how you're growing and what you're learning as you go, especially when you go higher into more of your own personal truth and more of your own soul's guidance. So I hope this has helped provide some perspective on the intense energies, and that it gives you some clarity perhaps of what you've been moving through this year. Where again, if you've been wanting change and you're wanting things to shift and it hasn't happened yet, it will probably show up in early 2022. But first, we have to make sure that we've gone through a deep, clear deconditioning and deprogramming process. So thank you so much for joining me. I am grateful for your connections, comments, likes, shares. Thanks for sharing these videos in groups and through various social media outlets. It's wonderful that more people can find this information for it to assist them. And if you want to check out the major astrology of 2022, be sure and check out those details below this video, because you can still get that full program for only $25 with coupon code 2022. So I'll see you back here very soon for another YouTube video. In the meantime, wishing you a beautiful day ahead.